Okay, imagine this for a second. Your colleague asks for a ride home, but it's like way out of your way, and you're already tired.
Mm-hmm.
And before you even really think, you hear yourself saying, oh, yeah, sure, no problem.
Right. Or, you get invited to something, maybe a party, and you just really want a quiet night in.
Totally. Your couch is calling your name.
Exactly. But you say, yes, sounds great, because, well, you don't want to let them down.
Or that group gift at work, the one you kind of can't really afford.
Mm.
But you chip in anyway
Yeah.
because, well, you don't want to be the odd one out.
Mm. And then later, maybe driving home or trying to relax, that little voice pops up.
Oh, yeah. Why did I agree to that? That sinking feeling.
It's amazing how those little moments, saying yes when you mean no, can actually become a real pattern, can't they? Something a lot of us probably deal with sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really what we want to dig into today. We're taking a deep dive into this whole idea of people pleasing.
What it actually means, maybe what's behind it.
Uh-huh. And what happens when it goes too far. And most importantly, are there ways to handle these things differently?
Yeah, practical steps.
So our jumping off point for this discussion is a really insightful video we found. It's on YouTube on the LEP Learn English podcast channel.
Ah, yes. The title is Are You a People Pleaser? A Healing Podcast Intermediate.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So our mission here for you listening is to get a clearer picture of people pleasing, maybe see if some of it rings true for you, and walk away with some actual ideas for healthier ways to interact.
It really gets to the heart of balancing, our own needs with what others want from us, trying to find that sweet spot.
Okay, so let's break it down. What is people pleasing
Yeah.
fundamentally? The video really highlights this idea of putting others' happiness first, like
Well,
consistently.
often at your own expense, right?
Exactly. That phrase really stuck out. Saying yes when they really want to say no, that seems to be the core conflict.
That internal battle is definitely key. And it's not just about being kind or helpful. Those are great things. People pleasing, though, often comes from this worry, this anxiety about how others will react if you don't go along.
Like worrying you'll upset them or they won't like you anymore.
Precisely. And the video makes a good point.
Hmm.
It might look like kindness on the surface, but always putting yourself last, that can really start to wear you down.
Yeah. Let's talk about those downsides.
Yeah.
The video mentions some real problems that can crop up, like feeling just exhausted.
Constantly tired and stressed. Yeah, because if you're always prioritizing what everyone else needs,
Your own energy just gets depleted, doesn't it? You're always giving it away.
and think about the bigger picture, like your overall well-being, that kind of constant stress, it adds up. It can hit you emotionally, but also physically.
The video touches on that feeling kind of unhappy because you're always doing things for others, not for yourself.
Mhm.
It mentioned it can even show up as physical symptoms.
It's a real drain. And it's not just about missing out on fun things. Over time, if you consistently ignore what you need, it can lead to feeling resentful, maybe even burned out. It chips away at your sense of self.
That makes sense. And there's this simple but really important line from the source. Your happiness matters too.
It sounds obvious, doesn't it?
It does. But when you're caught in that people-pleasing cycle, it's surprisingly easy to forget that. You just focus on everyone else.
So how can you tell? How do you spot if maybe you lean towards people pleasing? The video gives some pretty clear signs.
Right. The first one that jumped out at me was finding it really difficult to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Like the examples they used.
Yeah.
Agreeing to help a friend move even though you're completely wiped out and had other plans.
Or taking on extra work when you desperately need a break. It's that almost automatic yes.
Yeah, even when everything inside you is saying no, please no.
And often underneath that is this deep discomfort with refusing, like a fear of letting the other person down, or maybe facing some kind of negative consequence for saying no.
That fear can be really strong.
Definitely.
Another sign the video pointed out was consistently putting other people's needs first.
Like the restaurant example.
Yeah. Eating somewhere you don't like or watching a movie you have zero interest in just because someone else wants to or the group wants to.
It's about avoiding any potential disagreement, even if it means you don't enjoy yourself. You're trying to keep the peace, maintain harmony.
Even at the cost of your own preference or comfort.
Exactly.
And the last sign they talked about was this constant worrying about other people's happiness.
Oh, that one's big. Always wondering what others think of you.
Yes. And being anxious that you might have upset someone accidentally. The video mentioned replaying conversations in your head.
Overthinking things you said or did, yeah. Wondering if you came across wrong.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling.
Yeah,
It's a heavy mental load, isn't it? Trying to manage everyone else's feelings all the time.
it really is. And ultimately, it's impossible, right? You can't control how other people feel.
So true. Okay, so we've seen the signs. What about the reasons behind it? Why do people fall into these patterns?
Yeah.
The video suggested a few things, starting with a lack of confidence,
That's a really key insight. If your own sense of self-worth isn't very solid, you might look for validation from outside.
like by pleasing others.
Yeah, the thinking goes, if people like me, if they approve of me because I'm helpful and agreeable, then maybe I'll feel better about myself. It fills that internal gap, sort of.
So your self-esteem kind of gets tangled up with what other people
It
think.
can, yeah. And sometimes this can connect back to earlier experiences, maybe how approval worked in your family growing up. But the core idea is seeking external validation.
Okay. The video also brought up the fear of rejection. That seems huge.
Oh, definitely. Worrying that if you say no or if you disagree, people just won't like you anymore. Or worse, they might abandon you.
Leave you out, yeah. That basic fear of exclusion.
Exactly. So saying no feels really risky, like you're putting the whole relationship on the line, even if the request is actually kind of unreasonable.
Wow, yeah. That fear can really dictate your choices.
It can. And then there's this related idea, the need for acceptance.
Wanting everyone to like you.
Pretty much. The video explains it as this strong desire to be accepted by, well, basically everyone you meet.
Yeah.
And the belief, maybe mistaken, is that if you just agree all the time, you'll get that positive regard.
But that's not really possible, is it? To have everyone like you.
Not realistically, no. People are different. They want different things. Trying to please absolutely everyone is
Yeah.
just, it's a recipe for exhaustion. And you'll likely end up feeling like you failed anyway.
Okay, so this might sound a bit discouraging, but the good news, and the video spent a lot of time on this, is that you can make changes.
Absolutely. It's not set in stone.
And a really big strategy they focus on is setting healthy boundaries. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, basically, it means first figuring out your own limits. What are you genuinely okay with? What pushes you too far or makes you feel resentful?
Okay, so knowing yourself first.
Yes. And then, crucially, being able to communicate those limits. Being able to say no when you need to, without feeling overwhelmingly guilty about it.
And boundaries can be about different things, right? Like your time.
Your time, your energy, even your physical space sometimes. It's about knowing where your yes ends and your no begins.
The video really emphasizes self-awareness here.
Mm-hmm.
Taking time to notice
Yeah.
what drains you,
Yeah.
what recharges you.
Right, like realizing, okay, I really need some alone time on weekends, or I can't be available for work calls after 6 p.m. Identifying those things for yourself.
Once you know them.
Then you need to communicate them clearly. The video gave some useful phrases like, I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that. Or maybe, I need some time for myself right now.
Feels a bit blunt, maybe.
It can feel that way at first, especially if you're not used to it. But the message behind it, and the video stresses this, is that it's okay to put yourself first sometimes. It's not selfish. It's actually necessary for your own well-being.
Okay. And tied into boundaries is, well, actually saying no. The video calls it the power of saying no.
Mm-hmm. It acknowledges it's hard, especially if you're the go-to yes person.
Right. But it's essential, isn't it? For taking care of yourself. It tells other people, and maybe more importantly, it tells yourself that your time and needs actually matter.
And saying no doesn't have to be harsh. The video offered some polite but firm ways to do it.
Like what?
Things like, I'm sorry, but I can't do that right now, or thanks for asking, but I have other plans, or even, I appreciate the offer, but I need to rest.
So you're declining, but respectfully.
Exactly. Or, I can't help with that, but maybe another time. You don't always need a long explanation or 1,000 apologies.
That's helpful. And it circles back to that key message from the source. It's okay to say no.
It really is. And you have to remember, like the video says, you can't do everything for everyone all the time. Just physically impossible and mentally draining.
Trying leads straight to burnout.
Definitely. Which brings us nicely to prioritizing self-care. The video positions this as the whole point of making these changes.
It's not just about saying no, it's about what you say yes to for yourself.
Precisely. It's about actively doing things that nurture your mental and physical health.
So what does self-care look like, according to the video?
Basically, anything that brings you joy, comfort, or helps you recharge. They encourage making actual time for these things.
Like reading a book, going for a walk.
Spending time with friends you actually want to see, listening to music, whatever works for you. The main idea is You deserve to feel good. You deserve happiness.
That's a powerful message.
And they also connect physical health in there too. Eating well, getting enough sleep, moving your body.
Makes sense. If you're physically run down, it's harder to feel good mentally.
For sure. It all works together. Taking care of your body supports your mind and emotions.
The video also mentioned something about reflection, looking back.
Yes, looking back at times when you perhaps said yes when you didn't want to,
Mhm.
and asking yourself, why did I do that?
What was going on underneath?
Exactly. And also, how did it make me feel afterwards? Stressed, tired, resentful, unhappy.
And noticing those feelings helps you change things next time.
That's the idea. Recognizing the pattern and its negative impact helps you make a different choice in the future. It's about building that self-awareness muscle.
And they shared a personal story in the video, didn't they, to kind of illustrate this?
They did, yeah. The speaker talked about being a student, quite sensitive, and just saying yes to every single social invitation.
Why? Just to fit in?
Yeah, wanting to be part of the group, but the result was total exhaustion. And it even started affecting their grades.
Wow. So real consequences.
Absolutely. And it was a turning point. They realized how important their own feelings and well-being were. They had to start making different choices.
So what did they learn to do?
They learned to check in with themselves first. Do I actually want to do this? Do I have the energy? Before agreeing. And crucially, learning not to be so afraid of saying no sometimes.
Yeah, and the outcome.
Much better. They described feeling happier and actually having healthier, more genuine relationships in the end.
That's a great example of how making these changes can really pay off.
It really ties everything together, doesn't it? It shows that too much people-pleasing really can negatively impact your life.
So recognizing the signs, understanding the why behind it,
Mm-hmm.
that's the crucial starting point.
Yes. And then the path forward involves those strategies we discussed. Setting boundaries, getting comfortable with saying no.
Prioritizing self-care
Yeah.
and taking time to reflect on your choices and feelings.
And that final message from the video really sums it up. It's okay to put yourself first sometimes. You deserve to be happy and healthy.
It's a powerful reminder. So as you're thinking about all this, maybe consider, is there one area, just one small area in your life, where you tend to put others first, maybe a bit too much?
Mm.
What's one tiny boundary you could maybe experiment with? Just try out this week to honor your own needs a little bit more. Just something to think about.
It's definitely fertile ground. These themes of self-care, boundaries, relationships, they all connect in interesting ways. Perhaps topics for future explorations.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today.